Most people don't believe in demons or spirits. They only believe in the physical world and believe that the spiritual world is just a fantasy. Since the beginning of the music industry, there have been myths of artists selling their souls to the devil for fame and fortune. Stories like those of Robert Johnson, who sold his soul on the crossroads. Since most people don't believe in the spiritual world, these stories have been seen as just that, stories. But what if I told you that's not the case? Many of these artists are in fact utilizing demonic spirits and being used by them. Don't believe me? Well, that's exactly what this massive rock star, who was one of the founders of the group Metallica, revealed. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about a former Metallica band member revealing the truth about demonic possession in the music industry. Let's get right into it. I know all of you watching have noticed all the satanic imagery coming from Hollywood. It's pretty hard to miss, especially if you have been watching this channel for the last 4 years. I have exposed just about all the satanic imagery that can be found in the music industry. People can't deny the obvious satanic presence found in the music industry. This isn't new. It has been going on since the late 1960s. Back in those days, bands like Black Sabbath and the Rolling Stones were known to use occult imagery often. Occult themes that were inspired by the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley. By the 1980s, the satanic panic was in full swing, and rock music became fully demonic. This satanic imagery has been a part of the music industry for decades now. At this point, people can't argue about it being in the music industry. What people do argue about is whether this imagery is just for marketing and shock value, or if there's something more to it. Now, most people go for the explanation they like best. These artists just use this satanic imagery for shock value and nothing else. They prefer it this way because they don't want these celebrities they love so much to be what they're telling them they are, satanic. People will see artists like Lil Uzi Vert and Playboi Carti using plenty of satanic imagery and write it all off as just shock value or trolling. Also, they can keep listening to their music without feeling guilty. They want there not to be nothing deeper to it. The thing is, all of this satanic imagery is much deeper than people want it to be. It's all a part of the spiritual battle we are all in the middle of. Whether you want to be a part of it or not, you're in the middle of this battle. The satanic imagery you see from the music industry is a representation of what's actually going on behind the scenes. All the demonic influence and evil these artists are channeling, serving, and enslaving themselves to. That's what you see coming out in the imagery of these artists' music videos and performances. They are showing you who they really are. I know you guys have noticed how cold and evil our world has become over time. The darker the music and the movies get, the darker our world becomes. The music is influencing this wickedness and darkness in our world and conditioning the masses to it. These artists sell their souls for fame and fortune, only to be used to influence the masses for these demons. Rock music, for the longest, was one of the music genres that were completely satanic. Before rap and pop, it was rock music pushing the satanic agenda heavily. All the big rock stars seem to be using satanic imagery in all their videos and performances. While back then most people thought it was all shock value, what they didn't know is that these artists were fully immersed in the occult. They were all followers of Aleister Crowley and other famous occultists. It was clear that Satan was the dark prince of rock and roll. He owned the souls of the biggest rock stars. The imagery wasn't just for your entertainment, it was for your indoctrination. They made people comfortable with the occult, black magic, and Satan worship. Even if the fans thought they were just pretending, in reality, they were opening themselves up to these demonic spirits these rock stars were conjuring up. What many people don't know is that these rock stars actually cast spells onto the music. They not only put hidden messages in music when played backwards, which is called blackmasking, but they also put rituals and occult themes into the songs themselves and even perform satanic rituals over the records. Also, when the fans play the music at home, these demonic spirits can enter your spirit and corrupt you. These rock stars weren't playing with this imagery. They were deep into it. This is exactly what this rock legend admitted himself. Dave Mustaine was a rock legend who was a part of bands like Megadeth and was one of the founders of the massive band Metallica. Just like many other rock stars, Dave got into the occult at an early age, being introduced to it by his sister, who was dabbling in witchcraft. He then became consumed by it, getting into it more and more as time went on. Eventually, he started going too far, making pacts with demons, selling his soul, and even putting demonic hex on people that caused them to get hurt. All this dabbling in occult led to him becoming a massive rock star, becoming extremely famous and rich, all while being guided by the demons he had enslaved themselves to for success. Dave admits his music was used to open fans up to demonic spirits. He also admitted that he had made songs like his song The Conjuring, which had black magic incorporated into the lyrics of the song, opening his fans up to this demonic energy. In the song, you can see that the lyrics are just spells. I would just show you these lyrics, but I'm not going to read them. I will read the second verse though. In the second verse, he sings about selling his soul and making pacts with the devil. He sings, "I am the devil's advocate, salesman if you will. You know my name, you know my name. I met your father years ago. I gave him what he pleased. He called my name and you'll do the same. I'm claiming what is mine by right. It's time to close the deal. You're bought and sold. Come join me in infernal depths, Mephisto's Hall of Fame. I've got your soul. I've got your soul." As you can see, this is the kind of music this man's band made. Music that was clearly inspired by demons. Dave admitted that rock stars were used to further Satan's agenda here on Earth. He recently said this in an interview where he admitted all of this and confirms how these demonic influences in the music industry are all real.
He left her, and she was heartbroken, and she went crazy, and she started pursuing alternate means because God had not worked for her. The God of the witnesses that she'd been praying for her husband to come back didn't work. I had ran away from home, and I moved up to Idaho, and I was living with her and kids in a trailer, which was awful. And she went to work one day, and I started playing hooky from school. One day I went back into where her bedroom was, and there was a candle that was on her desk that had melted, and it had some substance in the top of it, looked like moss. And there was a picture that was burnt in half, and it was a hex to have him leave the girl he left my sister for, who was a big blonde bombshell from a bar, and to come back to my sister, who was not a big bombshell blonde. And I'll be damned if he didn't come back.
Are you serious?
He came back. So I figured, wow, this has got to work. And I saw the book. It was just a little piece of paper. It was like, you fold it in half and that's a page. And it was like a 20-page booklet or something like that. And it had a couple hexes in there, and I tried 2 of them, and they both worked too. So
what were your hexes?
Well, one was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me at school. And I figured, that's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book, and I found something that would what I wanted, and I did that hex. And then there was another one.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did and go down that route, because it was a terrible deviation from what was good and right in the world for me. Of course, that power's out there. Without black, there's no white. But I did a second one, and that one was it was something when I had moved back to California already. And there was somebody that I wanted, and I was just, I was an ugly, redheaded, freckle-faced kid. We were together, and then we weren't.
And it worked again. Wow.
Yeah.
So what is, I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is the snapshot? What is it? Is it?
Well, there is a understanding that there are black witches and white witches. But witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic. There's use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm, use of all of these things that are all part of what was created and being used in an unnatural way. This is bigger than I am, and I'm not going to mess around with this. And so I wrote the song The Conjuring, and there was another song that was kind of along from that inspiration, from that experience. It was Bad Omen.
Wow. I read that you stopped doing witchcraft around 30. It sounds like you were in some, I think you described it as a satanic depression.
No, oppression. It was like a possession, not depression, like having a spirit on you.
How?
Like having a spirit on you.
How?
Well, when you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming, right? And I believe in God, then I have to believe in the devil, right? And I believe in God. I believe in Christ. I believe in the devil. I believe they're demons. I believe they're angels. Still don't know what the real estate looks like up in heavens, but I've got a pretty good understanding of a lot of that stuff. And
You think you were possessed?
oh, I know it was, because we tried to get my life in order, and stuff just kept happening, and we would go see.
As you heard for yourself, Dave admits he was involved in the occult. Now, he got so deep into it that he eventually became consumed by the demons he was channeling. These demons eventually took over him, and the only way he was able to escape them was turning to God and giving himself to Christ. In another older interview, he confirms that rock bands were being used by the devil to influence the masses, and it's why he turned to God and stopped performing those songs, and even stopped performing with other artists that are satanic.
He's ever told was convincing people he doesn't exist. And you see people, they think that he's like red. He's got a goatee and a ponytail and stuff like that. Listen, he's very beautiful. He's an angel. Why would he look like some monster? He's capable of looking just like you. He could be in this room right now. We wouldn't know it.
Scary thought.
It's a very scary thought.
Say that heavy metal music is infused with the power of the devil?
In some cases, yes, but not in all cases, because you've got great heavy metal bands that believe in God and glorify Him. We pray every night before we go on stage.
Chord progression called the tritone, also known as the devil's interval.
Devil's tritone is made up of these three notes, and this note right here drops down one. So it goes. So listen to the difference. It just sounds evil, doesn't
It
it?
sounds darker. Which is why the progression is used so frequently in death metal. Mustaine says he is a Christian now, but wasn't always.
My mom was a Jehovah's Witness. I was brought up as a witness, and I revolted to the witchcraft because I hated going out and knocking on people's doors.
Yes, witchcraft. As a teenager, Mustaine says, he cast 2 hexes. The first was on a bully who sucker punched him.
From what I heard, in a car accident, and something happened to part of his body that I had targeted in the hex, and that showed me that it was real.
The second was on a girl he was in a class with.
They wanted her, including me, but she was so out of my batting average and just totally out of my league. And I did it, and the next day she was in my apartment.
You were convinced that these hexes, spells that you were casting, worked.
I was, and I do believe in the dark side. Most people think that, black magic and witchcraft and stuff like that isn't real or it doesn't work. And I know that it works.
Staine's fascination with the occult continued into his adulthood.
I was doing a lot of blood packs with people. This is before we found out about AIDS. It was real simple stuff where you cut your thumb and you rub it somebody else and become blood brothers. I don't want to make a spiritual covenant and mix my life with somebody else who I don't know who they are or how they are. I said that blood is life.
And like so many people we have met, Mustaine believes that he opened the door to demonic forces, which had a profound impact on his life. Was your abuse of alcohol related to the satanic influences that you'd been dabbling in?
I'll say this. Every time I drank, I did not always do activities that were satanic, but anytime I had been doing anything that was satanic, I had been drinking. That make sense?
Yes, it does. There was a relationship then.
Absolutely.
There are some songs Mustaine will no longer sing.
I think that I'm more dangerous now that I'm a Christian than I ever was before. I was trying to go the opposite route because I'm armed with the truth now.
As you heard for yourself, Dave admits that he and other rock stars were used to promote Satanism. They were being used to cast spells onto the fans. Dave isn't the only celebrity that admits this either, as a former pop star, Shane Lynch, also admitted that satanic prayers were done over his music before it was sent out to the fans.
Side of the Ouija boards, seances, all that kind of spiritual tarot card reading, all that stuff really got a hold of me. And interestingly, that all came from our very first album launch, which you would look at very innocently. It was around Halloween. It was a Halloween party in a big mansion. But in that was super demonic. But for we're just young kids, it's a bit of fun. The record company are there and all the journalists are there, and here we go. But when I look at the way the industry has the ruling over music, now, of course, not all music is bad. By all means, it's not. But majority of it there is to take you away from Christ. 100% take you away from Christ.
In terms of the lyrics, is that what you mean? Or do you mean industry itself, people, the big players in the industry?
Both, lyrically and both big players. Both. I've been in rooms at the top of the top, which albums are prayed over demonically. Music is prayed over demonically. That goes out to the world, goes out to the radio stations, goes out to the public. And when you see that stuff and know that stuff, it's frightening.
What do you mean by that, Shane, prayed over demonically?
So rituals, ceremonies, everything to bring, to give light to the devil, to Satan. It's a satanic music industry. That's majority of what it is.
Do you mean figuratively, or do you mean literally you've been in...
Literally, yes.
And
Not figuratively.
Can you share what those albums were? Were they your albums?
No, they
or were
weren't our albums, no. They were not Boys Own albums. So that's what I mean by not every music is that, but it was on the stepping stone to that. So you're going back to 1993s into 2000s. And then if you look at what the music is today, the industry is today, for all your Sam Smiths to your Dojo Cats to your Beyoncés to, they are so demonic, it's unbelievable. And we can't, it's in front of us. And it's something that we kind of go, oh, it's just music. But it really isn't. It's absolutely taken over the world, taken over our children, and taken over everything that's come into the times of world crisis.
And are you talking about the messages that are in some of those songs, some of those artists, you know, share with their fans?
Yeah, messages and the glorification of Satan.
And it certainly had some kind of influence on you, because as you said that you started to get very drawn into the dark side. You were interested in witchcraft and Ouija boards, and that led to some very dark experiences for you personally. Can you tell us a bit about what those were and how those came about?
It came about just through opening those doors. You know, we've got to be very careful on what doors we knock on. And as soon as you start innocently doing a tarot reading or Ouija board or a seance or whatever fun things as kids that we mess around with, you're giving ground to the dark side. Of course you are. You're now engaged. You've opened the door. And once you open doors, they have the rights. They have the rights to come in. And I opened many doors and found myself in a very, very angry, very dark place, self-destruct place, violent place.
This is what they used the music for. It started with blues and jazz, then it moved on to rock music and then even pop music. Eventually, it ended up taking over hip-hop as well. A rapper, a part of the rap group 3 6 Mafia, admitted himself that he and 3 6 Mafia did not only use satanic imagery for shock value, but that they were deep into the occult. He admitted that he was deep into Satanism and that their goal with their music was to make black people comfortable with Satanism.
My name is Robert Cooper, rap name Coopstanika, but you can call me Coop. Yes, I was deeply, I don't know about nobody else, but I can tell you, we know we was doing with 666. Hey, we exactly knew what it meant. You know what I'm saying? So kind of didn't want to get into all that, no matter what I blame God for doing. You know, I hated God for what he did. But as it came to the 666, I don't think I hate him that much. But I did it because it was money. And so, you know, you could, I even had the satanic books, the little warlock materials, you know, every warlock got to have a dagger, cut the little punch stars, whatever, little candles. And I had all that. I was into all that. So, because something about the other Bible didn't work out. So I can tell you this, we did, folks with 666, some folks were scared of it and left, put it. But me, I meant what I was saying. I definitely meant it. I said, so God, you're gonna play like that, huh? Well, I got you. I'm gonna make black folks comfortable with 666. Back then, black folks was like scared of it. You know, they wasn't too much on it. It's basically rock and roll. You know, they said 666, they go, ah. But then they start listening to it and go to church. So they said, asked a lot of y'all worship the devil. They say they're Christians, but they are from 666, you know what I'm saying? So my job was out of anger to make black people get comfortable with their name. And I was very intelligent with it because I read a lot about it. You know, so I read a lot of books. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Baptist, I'm not an atheist, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Catholic. It's all to maintain order. Now, I can't talk against religion because without religion, which is what they use to maintain order, if that happened, it'd be a lot of chaos. You get what I'm saying? But I read a lot and I put all that into the music and the energy. You get what I'm saying? Because how you get Satan's name going, you get the kids to liking it. Now today, see, I think we was one of the first people to break it like that. You would think 666 would have been a rock and roll band. So I think I was used by Satan, and I think he's a big, I don't fear him. I don't even believe in that mother no more. But just to get black people, you know, once you get the black people, which are the riders of the Bible, they carry the Bible in their back like Jesus, Yahshua, whatever his name is, told it the cross, you know what I'm saying, the crux or whatever. But anyway, we got people comfortable with his name, and we made sure we made songs violent. Very, very violent. We made songs very violent. Everything was violent. It was a lot of crazy. We went downtown to do an album cover for Mrs. Styles. And you couldn't know me, of course. I got on the guy, this me on the cross. Just me, Paulo, and the Juice with Crunch on it. He wasn't this one part of the group. We went across going on this. In this city by rich folks and politicians that's in this shit. And this shit is really serious. So I told myself, hey, well, I'm not the kind to drink blood because there's 150 some ways of worshiping Satan. Voodoo, you got Satanists, occults, all kinds of witchcraft, sorcerers. So I guess I was just a goddamn messenger. You get what I'm saying? You know, I was a clean, fancy type Satanist. Or whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? And I guess I would like to, because I want the scum of the earth, like going wearing all the goddamn crazy colors and necklaces. I did have upside down crosses here. I did have black fingernails, but I ain't that crazy off the wall kind. I'm strictly because there's levels in it. You got motherfuckers that go from the black robe to the chains and cuts on their bodies to mother with Italian suits on.
As you heard for yourself, this rapper admitted it openly. 3 6 Mafia was a rap group that openly used satanic imagery. Their name 3 6 Mafia is a reference to 666. It was always right in the open. They were being used to normalize Satanism, just like rock, pop, and even country music. The devil's clearly hijacked the music industry, using it to normalize his way of rebellion. His goal is to make sure you never know God. Instead, worship yourself as the only God. Music is a powerful tool that has been used against us in this spiritual battle. Don't allow those who run this world to guide you away from your true purpose. See the music for what it is, spiritual warfare. It's important we wake people up, educate them on why these artists use all this satanic imagery. Explain to them that music plays a role in the normalization of evil, how those who are establishing this new world order need everyone to adopt their ideals and ideologies in order for this new world order to work. The new world order needed the masses to worship themselves as God, and this is exactly what the music is encouraging. Sadly, more and more people are tricked and lost their souls in the process. Music is the most influential thing in the world. Now think about what people are being influenced by when they see a video full of satanic and occult themes. They are being influenced to be evil, to abandon God. This is why they have completely taken over music. It's important you pay attention to what you expose yourself to. You heard this rock star admit his music exposes people to demonic spirits. Don't allow that energy in your life. Even if you don't believe in God, which you definitely should, you still shouldn't want to enjoy evil and darkness. It could only lead you to evil and darkness. Remember, every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we must also remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.